Hello guys, welcome to Tony's Projects. Today's video, I will show you guys how to build your very own firing system for your very own fireworks shows for the 4th of July, New Year's, or any special occasion you might have. Now, you'll need an Arduino or some 5-volt system. For example, the Raspberry Pi Pico or Pico W or Pico 2, or the ESP32 for good examples, run off 3.3 volts, which is not enough to fire these MOSFETs here, as you can see, which means you have to have a 5-volt system like an Arduino here. I just have this Arduino Nano. It's a knockoff one from AliExpress. You can get these for dirt cheap for like $1 a piece, but it works well. So you also need a breadboard, obviously some resistors. You should use 2K resistors, but for the sake of the video, I don't have any 2K resistors because I actually used all of them up in the actual project here. I have 220 ohm resistors, as you can see by the labeling right here. I have 220 ohm resistors, but this just for the sake of the video, use 2K resistors if you're doing this. So yeah, so I have my 2-pin 5mm screw-in terminals as well. You can use 3mm, doesn't matter, as long as it fits your breadboard. I have the RF Z44N transistor right here. I don't know if you can see that in the light. That says IRF Z44N. But you can also use the IRL Z44N. It's nearly identical. I also using these LEDs. Doesn't really matter. Any color works. Okay, so let's start. So first, I'm just going to put my Nano on the breadboard here. Doesn't really matter where you put it. Just put it just like that. Get this out of here. Okay, so first things first. For the sake of the video, I'm going to do a 5 one. But in theory, you can put as many MOSFETs or as many controllers as you want, as the amount of digital pins on here. So let's say you have an Arduino Mega that has 50 digital pins or something on that. So you could have 50 firing things, which is a crazy amount. This only has 13, or 12, sorry, technically. So this only has 12, so at the maximum allowed to 12. But for the sake of the video, so it's not an hour long, I'm only going to do 5. But you can just repeat it multiple times over. So first things first, I'm going to put my 5 MOSFETs facing me just like this. Just like this, nice and clean. You can put it anywhere. Just put it here. Yep. Just going to put them like this. This one's messed up. I'm just putting them 2 pins apart. Okay. Putting the last one in now. Okay, so then I got my 5 MOSFETs, and just like this, I am going to take, you also need jumper wires. That's a given for this. You're going to need jumper wires as well to connect everything together on this. You can also use like a nicer jumper wire, like these right here. If you want to do a better looking thing. But I'm just going to use jumper wires for the sake of the video. So I'm going to take my jumper wires, it's right here, and connect them up. So you want to connect the You want to connect the source or gate, to each of the digital pins. The gate on the IRFC44N is looking here. It's the far left pin. So the far left pin on this is the gate pin, which is actually used to control the MOSFET. So I'm just going to hook up these to the digital pins. So I'll hook up the first MOSFET, digital pin 12, and so on and so forth. MOSFET number 4 to digital pin 11. MOSFET number, this is broken. MOSFET number 3 to digital pin 9. You can hook these up to any digital pins. I'm just doing this because it's closest and most convenient. No, but in the future, I might make a video where instead of making 12 like this, I might use 50 with an Arduino Mega, which is going to be a very big project, but I hope it'll be fun. It'll be cool. Okay, just putting the last one in here, just like that. Okay, so as you can see, I hooked up all the pins to the gate, which is the far left pin on this one, and I hooked them up to the first 5 digital pins on the Arduino, as you can see here, which is digital pins 12 through 8. Okay, next we're going to be hooking up power. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys doing ground, but you can also hook up ground for the gate source. But you're new to electronics, just follow what I do. So I'm just going to hook it up to ground, which is this rail right here. If you can see, it's the blue rail right here. And I'm hooking the far right pin to ground. Because as you can see on this one, yeah, the far right pin to ground. So I'm just going to do that times 5 for all these ones. Just have to find enough jumper wires in my box. Far right pin, all of them to ground, just like this. Yes. And if you're interested in buying this off me, or if you would be willing to buy it homemade like this, and I will be using a PCB. I'm actually in the middle of designing it right now. If you're interested in buying something like that off for the 4th of July, if you don't want to build it, just check out my interest form and link in the description. And I'll be selling it on my website, which is also linked in the description. There are fun projects there that I like to do. For example, I got my firework car I'm building right now, which is actually this integrated firing system and an RC car that I built. Okay, so now I've had all the pins hooked up the far right. I actually need to hook up the ground to the negative rail. So we've got all of them hooked up to the negative rail, and now I actually need to hook up the Arduino Nano's ground to the negative rail, as you can see here. And you can see I got ground going to the negative rail, which are all these here. Just like this. Perfect. Okay, now I'll be also hooking these LEDs to ground as well. I'm also going to be hooking up these LEDs to ground. Oh, you know what a bad thing is? I made that mistake on this, and when I was testing it, it actually broke. So my breadboard has these stupid rails. I don't know if you can see there's a little gap right here. These are not connected underground or under the breadboard. So you have to manually connect these. So when I was testing it, the MOSFETs over here were working, but the ones over here weren't because thing is right here. So I actually need to bridge that right now. So I'm just going to move this thing over and bridge it right now. And bridge it right now. Just like this. Okay, so next, I'll be hooking up the LEDs. You can see here, it doesn't matter. I got these cheap ones off AliExpress for like $1 for like 100 of these. Really cheap. They're 3mm ones. They're super small. But you can also use bigger ones like this. I'm pretty sure these are 5mm ones. Just like this. Okay, so I'm just going to be hooking the positive side of the LED, which you can tell because it's the longer leg. The longer leg's the positive side. So I'll be connecting the positive side to the gate, which is this pin. So I'm going to just like this. Spread them out a little more. I'll be hooking these up to the gate. Here we go. So let me move this down. So I will have the positive end of the LED connected to the gate of the MOSFET, and the negative end connected to the negative rail, which is also connected to the source of the MOSFET right here. Let's connect this back. Okay. Okay, now I just need to do this times 5 for the MOSFETs. This just helps us when we're troubleshooting it, or so these LEDs will light up whenever you fire it, which I'll show you guys after I complete it here. But every time you fire it, it'll light up this LED, which really helps to show what's happening and how it works. And if it ever breaks on you, it's super easy to troubleshoot if you know this. So yeah, I'm just going to do this times 5. Let me just get these MOSFET, these LEDs. Okay. Okay. Just going to put the longer leg again. That's the positive side. That. Okay. Yeah, sorry this is taking a while. But again, I'm going to be trying this with Arduino Mega, probably, in the future. I'm actually going to make a bunch of these for the 4th of July, so I can control different parts of the system. So I'll probably make like 3 of these. One for the beginning part of the show, the middle, and the end. Obviously, there'll be 2 parts to the show. There'll be the pre-show and the actual show itself. Okay, so as you can see here, I got the MOSFETs all hooked up here. Actually, Sorry, I totally forgot this. The ground connecting to this rail, I totally forgot, is not good because you'll need to use a resistor. So I'm just gonna reconnect this, but actually I'm gonna have to redo these LEDs because as you can see, it's on the same ground with the MOSFETs, but the LEDs need a resisted ground, otherwise they'll blow because it's only used for like 3.3 volts or 3 volts, and the MOSFETs require 5. And if I give 5 to these LEDs, they'll blow. So I just need to switch the negative leg to this rail, which shouldn't take very long. Okay, there we go. All finished. Okay, now I'll take a wire, grab the ground. Actually, this is like I think this is a 1K resistor. So I will take the ground on this side, put the 1K resistor on it, and just put it right here. And then connect the jumper wire from the 1K resistor to it is called the positive rail. As you can see on the top, it is negative and positive, but these are both negative right now. You don't have to follow that. It's like this, and again, I will have to. Oh, sorry, just hit the mic. And then again, I will have to jump these two things because a stupid breadboard does not do that for me, which I don't like. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Now, if we actually hook this up and give it a quick test, we should see the LEDs should be working in theory. If not, it's probably the LEDs are bad or I just wired them wrong. Okay. Let's see. So I just should be able to take the 5 volt from here, 5 volt from the Arduino Nano, and hook them all up. So if I turn the Arduino Nano on, that's interesting. These are on for me. Let me check why. Oh, shoot, there's a script already on here that's lighting them up. Actually, can I reset? Okay. Oh, yeah, there's a script already on here. So this was previously used for a RF module or radio frequency module, and the Arduino Nano is already lighting up these pins. So actually, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to take these out real quick and load this up and show you what it looks like when I attach the. As you can see here, when a 5 volt thing is supplied, it lights up the LEDs just like that. I don't know if you can see. So if I apply the 5 volt, it will light up just like this. Now the reason those LEDs were lighting up before is because there's a script on here that's actually firing those pins right now. I need to get rid of that if I'm going to actually turn this into a firing system. But for the sake of the videos, you can see it work just like that. Okay, let me just hook these back up. Okay, just like this. Okay, so these are now hooked up. Okay, so now we actually have to, so we have an input and we have an input for the digital pins. We can turn it on and we can fire the ground, but there's no actually way to connect a firing, an E-match to this. So this is where these 2-pin screw-in terminals come in. 5mm 2-pin screw-in terminals. You just put the E-match here and screw it in. Mind you, in the future, if you're really gonna do this long term, I suggest getting better ones like a pressure terminal, because these things, like when you try to take the E-match out, it sometimes messes up this. I don't know if you can see it. It messes up like this clip here, and so you can't use it again. I did have an example here somewhere, but I can't find it. But I suggest in the future, if you're really going to do this, get a better one, like a squeeze thing. I currently don't have those on hand. I'm going to order them off AliExpress soon, but I'm just using these for the time being. So I'm going to take, so since we're doing ground here, and we can't use the native 5 volt from this to actually fire the E-match, so we have to connect a 9 volt battery, and that's why we're using the MOSFETs. So I'm just gonna take these right here. And so the MOSFET, yeah, that's what the MOSFETs are used, just to control basically the 9 volt speeds. If we just connect it to this, it'd fry it. But actually, let me connect it. So where's my 9 volt battery? I had it here somewhere. Here it is. My battery. It's not a good system, but I have these clips on it, just like this, negative and positive rail. I'm just gonna connect it just like this. Yes. Oh, important tip too as well. You have to have a common ground, which means you have to connect the negative or ground of the 9 volt battery here to the ground of the peak of the nano right here. Otherwise, it won't work. That was a mistake I made on this. I meant to do it, but I totally forgot, and so it wasn't firing them at all. Which the LEDs actually helped me figure out, which is totally useful on them. Okay, so I'm just going to connect it just like this. And for an example, I'm going to put one here. So you can see there's 2 pins on the bottom. Pick the first pin, goes to the negative, just like this. And the second pin, just right here, actually goes to the positive rail, just like this. I'm actually going to take my mobile battery out, so it's not active. And so I just have to do this 5 more times. I'm sorry. I have one of the digital things unplugged. Okay, I'm just going to do this 5 more times, which means I'm going to need more jumper cables. Okay. Wait, I just want to make sure I've got this right. I think yeah, this, you're not meant to be here. Sorry, I just have a thing that's messed up here. This is not meant to be here. Sorry. Don't know why that's plugged in. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna connect. Oh, and by the way, the source, so there's a gate, there's a source, and there's a drain. The drain is where you connect the output to. The drain is actually the middle pin. I don't know if you can see that. The drain's actually the middle pin on this. So I'm just connecting the middle pin. Actually, yeah, let me check that. Yeah, you can see I don't know if you can see this, is a whole jumble of wires, but the middle pin actually goes to these things right here. And it's connecting the middle pin. Put this like right here. And then again, first pin here. And then take this and put it to the 9 volts. Positive 9 volts, by the way. Just like this. Like that. So I got a bunch of these things loose because I actually took them out. Okay, obviously this is not very neat and tidy. I highly suggest using these better ones right here if you're really going to do this. But if you don't want to do that or anything, go to my interest form if you're interested in purchasing this thing. If I do make it available, if I can make it working properly and actually make it sustainable. Not sustainable, yeah, reliable. That's the word. If I make it reliable, then I will put it up for purchase if I get enough sorry, I keep hitting my mic. If I get enough people wanting to buy it. So fill out that form down below if you're interested. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, feel free to skip this part. I'm sure most of you already have, but okay, 1 more to go. Okay. And there we go, nice and finished. Okay, so here is the entire firing system right here. So again, if you wanted to use this, you would just plug 0.9 volt in here. You would turn this Arduino Nano on, which just has a simple simple Arduino script, just turn on and off these digital pins to fire these. And again, if you're using this, sorry, just grabbing something. if you plan on using this, do not buy these clips off eBay because, or any site really. These clips suck. No, if you can see, these clips kind of suck because there's a filament in here. If you can see that, and when you actually put the fuse inside the filament, it rips it out. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a mini wire right here. That's the filament. It rips it out, and so the eMatch doesn't actually light. Get the ones where they're like circular cylinders, and you just put them in. They work way better. Highly suggest them way more than this. Okay. Anyway, this it is. Here it is. Anyway, check out my website for more fun projects or fill my interest form if you're interested in buying this from me. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching.